Welcome to Overwatch This. This is Jeff from the Overwatch team. Let's have fun today.
Hello everyone, Matt here from PCGamesN and I'm joined by Ben.
Hello Matt.
For yet another episode of Overwatch This. We're on episode 40.
They just will not end.
We're here for as long as Overwatch is, right? With any luck. And anyway, so it has been a mixed week this week, right? We're in the aftermath of Doomfist.
Yeah, not a ton going on.
No.
There was a video yesterday, in case people didn't see it, that the Overwatch team put out, which also had a release date in it for the man himself. It looks like the function for hero reveals is that you will get the reveal, and that will have an Origins video with it. It will also have a dev video with it.
Yeah, like
and
a how-to.
A little bit later, you'll get the making of video, which is what we got yesterday, which focuses a bit more on like art and VFX and music and voice acting and that sort of thing. So we got that yesterday. He's coming out next week.
Yep, 27th.
Yeah, which is the Thursday. So it's not a Tuesday patch, which is what we're kind of used to now. It looks like they're actually experimenting quite a lot at the moment with kind of the timings of different stuff. It used to be like PTRs were Tuesdays, patches were Tuesdays. It was always at 6 p.m. our time or 7 p.m. our time. Now, sometimes it's like 3 our time, which is brilliant for us. Sometimes it's at 2 in the morning our time, which is, well, fine because we just come in and do it anyway. But yeah, so this is going to be on the Thursday. We've had PTRs go up on Fridays and that sort of thing as well. What I would expect is that we will just kind of get the patch next week and then we won't see any kind of other updates until a little bit later. But what's also in that patch, balance changes.
Yes.
Any of these stick out to you, Matt?
It's Zarya, isn't it?
It is. It's just they're making Zarya better.
It's our girl.
Keep making Zarya better, please. Can you bring back the 4-second shields from the beta when she was just unbelievably overpowered and completely invulnerable? I think she had more health as well. Anyway, yeah, so that's good. Maybe Summer Games as well.
Yeah, so we've known that this is supposed to be happening. I say we've known. We've inferred from sort of like words that we've seen dotting around on error reports and stuff like that, that this is supposed to be the Summer Games. We thought Summer Games would come first and Doomfist later. They kind of reversed our expectations. So
I mean, either that'll be in this patch or it'll happen like halfway through this patch, maybe. I would expect it to just hit with Doomfist as like an extra thing. We'll probably make it one of the larger patches in a while because it's got pretty significant balance changes. Doomfist, obviously, and then the Summer Games as an event. Even if it's mostly stuff that we saw last year, will come back. All the data mining and stuff points towards that actually happening as well. So, yeah, expect that to hit next week. Beyond that, it's basically speculation time because we'd expect for there to be another patch after that. There's also a load of different stuff happening this year. You know, we've got, like 6 months left. And we're just kind of going to go over some of that.
So yeah, let's get talking about what we can see in the future, Ben, our seer of all things Overwatch. We've paid you in a coin of silver before we came in.
Yeah, so got my Farsight goggles on.
So patch 1.14,
yes.
What can you see?
So this is kind of interesting. So yeah, like on the PTR at the moment it's 1.13, we're currently on 1.12, so logically 1.14 would be next. There kind of isn't anything that people are after that has been teased that I would expect to be in this patch. For the last few months, and in fact, you know, since the game launched, it's always been like, oh, okay, obviously the next patch is going to have competitive, or obviously the next patch is going to have Doomfist, or clearly they're working on this or that. That's kind of done with now. We have this regularly updated article, hopefully you guys have seen it on the website, where we just kind of track everything Blizzard have said in terms of stuff that's coming up. And there is stuff that they haven't implemented yet, but it's all like really complex stuff that would take a long time to put together, or it's, you know, very speculative stuff like, you know, making it so when you play on the PTR, that progress that you make transfers to your main account. Stuff that's going to take a long time for them to implement and isn't particularly high, high importance. So the two things that aren't that are replays, which we do now know is possible after they did the highlight update, which made it possible to like save highlights and all the rest of it. That was the first part of them creating a full replay system, which obviously is going to be very, very important heading into, you know, the Overwatch League and other esports stuff. There's also the idea of multi-highlights, which is, you know, you see the Zarya throw the Graviton thing before you then flip to the Pharah and you see her fire rockets everywhere or whatever. Like, that is a really, really cool idea, but I expect that will take also quite a lot of development. And again, as cool as it will be, it isn't a vital kind of, the game needs this to continue to be great. And it's also something that's so really anticipated. I would think that they might hold that, as we'll talk about in a little bit, for like one of the events that they have. The other thing that's happening this week is SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con. It's medium for games. There isn't, it's not always a huge blowout, but a lot of companies go there. Blizzard do have various panels there. There is a Building Worlds with Blizzard panel that has loads of different. In fact, sorry, there's a Doomfist panel, and there is also a Building Worlds with Blizzard panel, both of which have loads of people from the Overwatch team on them. I wouldn't expect any announcements there, but given we're saying that we don't think this next patch is going to be huge, it might be the place where they drop, we're actually doing this next week or whatever. So the other option, of course, is that this patch won't actually exist, and that we'll have to wait until we get to Gamescom, which is what we'll talk about next, before they talk about the next patch. Basically because of how all the kind of dates work with that.
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, Gamescom, it's one of the biggest events in the world for games.
Yeah.
It's Europe's largest event by far.
It's bigger than E3 in a bunch of ways, not in terms of, expecting Half-Life 3 to be announced, but in terms of the number of people there and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's on 21st to 25th of August, so we've not got that long to go.
Yeah, it's about a month away.
And it's always been kind of like a big thing for Blizzard, right? So it's their big European presence. They've always got a massive kind of section there.
Yeah, in the past couple of years, they've basically turned it into BlizzCon EU. They kind of book out almost an entire hall for themselves.
Yeah, it's huge.
They run all the kind of streaming stuff that they do elsewhere. They make it very community focused. Again, it isn't where you would expect Overwatch to be announced, but they announced a new WoW expansion there. So anything is possible when it comes to Gamescom.
And then obviously last year we got the Bastion short. That was kind of one of their big things. And it was kind of around the time of Iconwald, was it?
Yeah, so that was where they revealed Iconwald as well, and they had all their streamers playing nothing but Iconwald for 3 or 4 days straight.
So potentially this year, right, we could be seeing. We know that there are still maps to come.
Yeah, so there is one map left on the kind of predicted thing. So they said a while back there were 6 maps to go. Sorry, in fact, there's 2 maps left. They said a while ago there was 6 maps to go. After that, we got the 3 maps that were the new arena maps, the 1v1 and 3v3 things, and then we got Horizon after that. As just a normal map. So they have said there's going to be 6 new maps this year. We've had 4 of them so far, not counting stuff that happened way back when. And then we're expecting 2 more. If they're going to release 2 more maps, they're going to have to announce one of them pretty soon because of just development time. I would expect that to be at Gamescom.
Yeah. And we've only got 6 months of the year left, right?
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
Not actually long for development and stuff like that.
Particularly for Overwatch development when it comes to new maps and new heroes, as we're also talking about in a second. So I would expect a new map. I would also expect a new short, just because, again, we're kind of running out of time for them to kick off a second season of these shorts. I think people were really expecting them to be more shorts by now. I don't know if there's been a delay there. As far as I know, there hasn't been any kind of massive disruption in their cinematic department. They're doing a lot more in-game stuff, particularly in World of Warcraft. But I don't see why there would be a massive delay other than them just wanting to release them at the right time. I can imagine maybe them kind of kicking off Gamescom with a nice big short and then having quite a quick succession of them, and maybe doing that in the future where you won't have shorts for a long time and then you get a lot of them at once, at once as in over a period of 3 or 4 months. So yeah, and the thing about Gamescom as well is it is in about 4 weeks, so it makes sense both if they want to take a break from PTR development for there not to be a patch until then, or if the patch goes up. So if this patch comes out next week, and then the week after that, if a patch hits PTR, that patch would go live just as Gamescom starts, which means they could then show stuff that would be in the next PTR patch, which would come out to live about 3 weeks later, and then we'd be into that cycle again. The thing is, if they have a bunch of stuff they really want to show at Gamescom, if they have kind of a big PTR blowout type deal where they're going to do maybe loads of balance changes or a new map or 2 new maps or something crazy like that, then I can imagine them taking a cycle off, like I said, and then patch 1.14 being at Gamescom rather than patch 1.15. There's also stuff like Overwatch League.
Yeah, it's going to be.
That's going to have to kind of show
Yeah.
up soon. We've had little bits of it now, and they announced some of the teams. That must have been last week as well, right? They said who the first 7 teams were going to be. More stuff for that, and more stuff within the esports realm for Gamescom wouldn't surprise me at all. Last year's Gamescom, I think it was, I hope I've got this right, had the first massive tournament for the game in the Atlantic Invitational. Was that what it was called?
Something like that.
Yeah. So I would expect that stuff there, particularly as it's in Germany, big esports kind of realm. It's where ESL is and that sort of thing. I would also expect them to start announcing this stuff fairly soon. We usually know once Gamescom starts exactly what we can expect to see. Like last year, the year where they announced that they were going to do a World of Warcraft expansion, we knew weeks beforehand that was what was going to happen. I still didn't believe it was going to happen when it happened, but so I would expect within the next couple of weeks that we will know at least vaguely, what we're going to see. Like, they might not say we're going to show you a new Overwatch map, but they will go, we have some big announcements for Overwatch, and you can kind of work it out from there.
And so obviously past Gamescom, we're then getting into sort of like the latter half of the year. The last quarter of the year obviously is massive for Blizzard because that's BlizzCon. That's when it all kind of goes down, right?
Yeah, and this is their big show. The thing about BlizzCon is so packed with stuff now that they have so many more games than they used to. It isn't just World of Warcraft anymore, and all of those games, particularly stuff like Hearthstone and Overwatch, are now bigger than WoW, and need to have a big place of their own. Last year we got a new hero and a new short. I don't see why they wouldn't do that again. Particularly, like, maybe that's not going to happen in 10 years' time. Maybe by that point, the hype around Overwatch will have died down a little bit. But it's kind of still there, honestly. It isn't going to be as big as it was for Sombra. There wasn't, 8 months of build-up or whatever. But it is still going to be a huge deal that they will want to showcase on the biggest stage that they have. Unless something has gone really, really wrong, I don't see why there wouldn't be a short there. It looks great when they can put it up on their own massive screens and they can have this live reaction from 10,000 people or whatever. So I think that is a lock. Who that hero will be, whole different ballgame. Because a lot of the 4chan leaks that we had and that we were working from pretty much turned out to be fake. There's one that was more relevant and that seemed like it had an idea for a lot of what Doomfist was going to be, but it was clearly like a very early version of him or a different version. It also just had some stuff that was wrong. Said he was voiced by Terry Crews, for example. Something that we were assuming. I was watching our New Heroes video where we said, yep, definitely going to be voiced by Terry Crews. Why wouldn't he be? Didn't turn out to be the case. But that also didn't have any kind of additional notes in it about what other heroes would be. So, yeah, we have a dedicated article about who new heroes might be. I'm going to make sure that's updated as soon as possible as well. I would guess Liao would be the next one just because he was teased so long ago. And, he's kind of a good guy and we've now had a bad guy. And they do seem to kind of like to do it in waves where we had like a lot of good guys for a while and then we kind of had a lot less obvious bad guys for a little bit. And then, yeah, I would still expect that though just because, yeah, they teased it so long ago. The other thing that I'm personally expecting is to see more stuff like the Doomfist anime thing.
Right, okay.
Because it was great.
Yes, it was very good. Yeah, people
really, really liked it. It's a lot less effort for them than it is to make a full short because it is done by an outside company. And also because, those shorts are pretty much top of the range animation.
Yeah,
like
and they fit with
it goes Pixar and then those shorts.
Yeah, exactly, sure. And then kind of like the anime stuff actually fits in quite well with the Overwatch universe and the idea that there's always been slight anime stylings to Overwatch and the comics kind of have that slight look about them as well.
Yeah, they work really well for the comics and I think I like that stop motion thing they did before as well, but this is kind of an upgrade on that and I expect they will want to continue to do that. The reception to it was really, really positive. I do wonder if they were waiting to see what the reception would be like before they would maybe commission more or think about doing more of them. But by BlizzCon, I would have thought all that would have been worked out.
Yeah.
And, the other thing is that, like, this is going to be two extra months of patches down the road. The game's going to have a whole slew of extra problems by then. Probably have seen, a new feature or something. So it's pretty hard to predict exactly what's going to be at BlizzCon now. But it's also important to remember that it won't just be like, here's what's in the next PTR, like I would expect from Gamescom. It's going to be like, okay, here's what we're doing in 2018.
Yeah. Like
last year's BlizzCon, they talked about Oasis. They talked about some, fairly kind of longer term plans that they had. And also it's got those public Q&A sessions, which usually means that, they do talk about very, very future plans because people are interested in that stuff. And, they ask about that. In that theme, Overwatch League should have started by then and be a big deal. I would expect BlizzCon to talk about 2018, which is when it's really expected to kick off, and that's when they want to start having home and away games and the merchandise and the stadiums and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's hopefully when the Overwatch League is actually going to come alive
properly. Yeah, I expect that's when that stuff will start, and then by 2019 we'll really see it as a an NBA size type deal.
So that's Sear Barrett's view of the rest of 2017.
Now you can just go to sleep for 6 months.
We'll obviously monitor that through the rest of the year and see if you were right or not.
We'll come back on I don't know the one after BlizzCon and be like, nope, nope, all of that was lies.
And we can fire you.
Yeah.
But that's it for episode 40 of Overwatch This. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like. You can always subscribe to PCGamesN, where you can get an episode of this every week, alongside plenty of other PC gaming videos. But until next time, good luck and have fun.